Angel Reese is putting up 13.5 points, 12 rebounds, and 2 assists. Caitlin Clark is putting up 17 points, 6 rebounds, and 8 assists in her own right. And I get it. We have to nitpick when we talk about these awards. 40% as a forward for Angel Reese is unacceptable. 5.6 turnovers per game as a point guard for Clark is unacceptable. But then you start to look even deeper. The records, we can't use that as a deciding factor because they are so neck and neck. 10-14 for the Chicago Sky, 11-15 for the Indiana Fever, and both of these players are putting up historical numbers. 15 straight double-doubles for Angel Reese, the most in WNBA history, and Caitlin Clark as a rookie is leading the league in assists, and she just had 19 in a game versus the Minnesota Lynx. Go Grant Hill and Jason Kidd make this a Co-Rookie of the Year award for this season.
I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
Looks like that video upset quite a few people, and everybody jumped in the comments section and turned it into mean tweets. So we're going to see some of the comments that everybody was saying about this video. Bro, what are you smoking? 10 points, 10 rebounds happen in every game. There's nothing special about a weak double-double. Triple-doubles hardly ever happen. 19 assists never happen. It's harder to have a perfect game than 100 average games. Not even Asia has a triple-double, but she averages a double-double. It's not even close. Vegas has Clark at -2,000, Angel at +650. It's not even in the same league. You think Vegas doesn't know? You think you know more than Vegas? Come on, man. CC turnovers do not affect the game. An average forward does, FYI. All right. There's no woman on Caitlin Clark's level. You can't even compare any woman to Caitlin Clark. You could have just typed, I love Caitlin, and just left it at that. I would have saw where you was coming from. AR makes up 40% of her own rebounds, sometimes 4 in a row from her own shot. We're going to talk about that point in the video because that's completely inaccurate. Clark's teammates aren't used to those type of passes. Come on, bro, wake up. There's not a comparison, not even close. Enough of the woke crap. Look at Reese's scoring chart and her percentage is putrid. I bet you don't know that Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese are both shooting 40% from the field. Oh, my man was so upset that he doubled back to make the same comment, just a smaller sentence. I respect the dedication to your argument. A lot of CC's turnovers are because her teammates can't catch a pass. I know your friend said that too. I'll vote for the one who actually has skill, not just size for ability. Listen, I'm a Caitlin Clark fan. All right, if you look down my timeline on my channel, my most successful videos are about Caitlin Clark. She gets the ball up the court, shoot from deep. She can hit the mid-range. She can get to the basket. DHO, pick and roll. She can get downhill, do the drop-off pass. She gets the ball up the court quick, keeps the tempo going. She's phenomenal. But we can't keep acting like AR ain't been hooping since day one. Game one, especially in the games when they play the Fever, 3 times this year, she's played great basketball. 13.5 points, 12 rebounds, 2 assists, 1.4 steals, 0.4 blocks. And yes, she's shooting 40% from the field, but she has 15 straight double-doubles, the most in WNBA history, and she did it as a rookie, and she has 17 or 18 on the season already before the All-Star break. And the game just before the All-Star break, they went into Las Vegas and beat them on their home floor. That's not something you see too often, especially with the rookie leading the way. Now, one of the first points I want to address is everybody talking about how this girl has no skill. Well, guess what? She's being compared to 2 people. Number 1, Draymond Green. Draymond Green no-skilled his way into 4 championships, and if you ask coaches and players, they say they don't get any of them without Draymond Green, and that man walked his way into being a future Hall of Famer. Number 2, you talk about Dennis Rodman being her comparison because her energy and effort. Dennis Rodman is not in the Hall of Fame or the top 75th anniversary team because of what he was doing with Carmen Electra in the Bulls practice facility. He's actually there because he was a tenacious defender and one of the greatest rebounders, if not the greatest rebounder we have ever seen. If not having any skill turns into 14 points and 12 rebounds, the league is absolutely in a lot of trouble once she actually gets some years under her belt. Point number 2 I want to address is that everybody talks about how she misses a ton of her own shots and she only gets the rebounds just to pad her stats. Nobody ever talks about the flip side of that, where you say, you know what? This has to be in the scouting report. The defense has to be aware that she's the best offensive rebounder in the entire WNBA this season. The defense have to have gone over in the scouting report that, you know what, when the shot goes up, whether it's offense or defense, somebody has to get a body on Angel Reese. But apparently that's not a part of the conversation with the fans. But I guarantee you, in that coach's room, on the staff, they're talking about it in every single timeout. Every single time they're preparing for the game, you got to get a body on Angel Reese or you're going to be in trouble for the entirety of the game. And you're talking about her getting 4-5 putbacks in one possession. I'm blaming the defense because they ain't doing their job. They ain't doing what they paid to do while she is. She's doing what she's paid to do. She's doing what she was drafted to do in the first place. And everybody knows this, but nobody pays attention to it because we're trying so hard to discredit one and give credit to somebody else. Now, let's look at a chunk of time, all right? Through June 21st, going back to the start of the season, of the 151 boards, only 24 were for her own misses. That is a 16% clip, not 40. Let's talk about the top 5 offensive rebounders in the WNBA versus the NBA, all right? When we look at the WNBA top 5, you got Reese, McBeggar, Boston, Thomas, and McGowan. Everybody else in that field is hovering around 23, 24, 25%, where their own misses account for a certain percentage of their offensive rebounds. Angel Reese is at 35%. 34 of her 97 offensive boards are from her own misses. Is it possible that we can say maybe, just maybe, she's better at this than everybody else? Or maybe she's putting out more energy and effort on both sides of the floor than everybody else that's doing it in the league right now? That's never a possibility in this conversation because it's somebody that the fans don't like. Let's look at the other side of things, the NBA. All right, compare her to those guys. I'm looking at Clint Capella, Rudy Gobert, Andre Drummond. Angel Reese is at a 22.6% of her offensive rebounds are from her own unblocked misses, and she accounts for 4.9 rebounds offensively per game. Clint Capella is at 4.6. His number's at 22.8%. Let's look at Andre Drummond. 29.9% of his offensive rebounds are from his own unblocked misses. Nobody talks about how his percentage should be lower. They say, you know what? The Philadelphia 76ers need a guy off of their bench like Andre Drummond to help them get to the championship because of the pressure he puts on the boards on both ends of the court, and he might be one of the best rebounders we have ever seen. For some reason, we're not allowed to say nice things about Angel Reese when her percentage is at 22.6 and she's averaging 4.9 offensive rebounds per game because energy and effort have nothing to do with it. It's the fact that she's just missing shots at the rim. That's what we're going to focus on to discredit Angel Reese. My last point, let's talk about some analytics because everybody loves analytics until it's time to take a deep dive into it because it's somebody you don't like. When we talk about the advanced stats, win shares, Angel Reese is at 2.7, which is 15th in the entire league. Caitlin Clark is not top 20. Angel Reese, defensive win shares, 1.4, 17th in the league. Caitlin Clark, not in the top 20. Defensive rating, 19th, 99.6. Caitlin Clark, not in the top 20. And to further my point, she is the only rookie in the top 20 in all 3 of those categories I just named. Now, I talked about Jason Kidd. I talked about Grant Hill being co-Rookie of the Year award winners in 1994. Now, when you look at the numbers, Jason Kidd was around 13, 14 points, 7.7 assists, somewhere in there, and he shot below 40%, and he was still given the co-Rookie of the Year award because his team was 10 games ahead of where they were the previous season. Grant Hill, 20 points, 6 and 6, shot close to 50%. He could have been a solo Rookie of the Year, but the way they were giving it out back then is kind of similar to the conversation surrounding Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese right now. Now look, Caitlin Clark, when we get into the future, all right, as time goes on, yes, Caitlin Clark, even now, is the better player. But we're talking about who's having the better season. Neither one of them is having a definitively better season than the other. Both of them in the record books right now, are neck and neck. 10-14 for the Sky, 11-15 for Caitlin Clark. They are both right there fighting for playoff spots where that wasn't the case last year. That's how both of their teams ended up in the lottery, being able to draft so high and being able to draft such talent because they weren't that good before. And now Caitlin Clark for the Fever, Angel Reese for the Sky are spearheading the push to the playoffs. You have to give them both credit. Caitlin Clark is the Stephen Curry of the WNBA. Angel Reese is the Draymond Green for the WNBA. Nobody likes him. Nobody appreciates him. But you know what? When it comes down to winning time and going for a championship, he's the guy you have to have on your team. Same thing with Angel Reese. Give this video a like, subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments who is your Rookie of the Year for 2024 in the WNBA.
I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.